Welcome to the News on Zodiac. This afternoon, you're with me, Robert Karua. Let's have a look at the headlines. Strike by truck drivers in the country enters second day. Government sanctions talks to end impasse. MHRC proposes a review of electronic transaction and cybersecurity law, which it claims is favoring senior officials. Civil society organizations call on government to exercise prudence in identifying a new passport printing company. And in sports, Malawian boxers miss out on latest African Boxing Union ranking. We've got these and many more places to speak about. We start with news that a strike by professional drivers and truck drivers in the country has entered the second day today, as a government-sanctioned meeting last night failed to resolve some of their grievances due to the absence of their employers under Transporters Association of Malawi. Vice Secretary for Drivers Union of Malawi, Francis Montali, said the absence of their employers at the meeting signaled lack of seriousness by their bosses to address the issue of salaries, but commended government for showing commitment to have their grievances addressed through Ministries of Labour, Transport and Homeland Security. Franklin Mtambalika is on the story.
On Wednesday, members of the Professional Drivers Association of Malawi and the Drivers Union of Malawi started holding a sit-in as one way of forcing their employers to start implementing the newly gazetted drivers' minimum wages and for the government to speed up the processing of their passports. Following the development, the government organized a closed-door meeting with the concerned parties to iron out the drivers' concerns. Speaking to Zodiac last night, Vice Secretary for the Drivers Union of Malawi, Francis Montali, said their passport issue was tackled by the government officials but failed to get proper direction on their salary grievances because there was no representation from their employers.
We are looking for the employers, the owners of the trucks, but they are not present in the meeting. So we can say that only one party, which is discussing about the immigration incidents, is the one we have tackled. But for the other side of the wages, the employers are not here.
Commenting on the matter, Secretary of the Transporters Association of Malawi, Elliot Musa, said the concerns on failures to comply with the new minimum wage by some employers can be dealt with individuals and not the association.
This protest is not directly connected to us. I think this one is directly connected to the government. Drivers are only requesting for faster processing of their passports. If some are complying and some are not complying, then it's not a problem of those that are complying. The problem is with those that are not complying. So it's up to the labor and the drivers themselves to go and meet these transporters that are not complying.
The meeting took place at the Ministry of Transport, where high-ranking officials from the Ministries of Labour, Homeland Security and Immigration were in attendance.
The Malawi Human Rights Commission, MHRC, has asked Parliament to consider reviewing the electronic transactions and cybersecurity law, which it claims is being used selectively and favouring top government officials. MHRC Commissioner Teresa Ndanga said this at Parliament when the Commission, alongside Malawi Police Service and Independent Complaints Commission, met the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Security to discuss human rights issues handling. John Pokayuni has more in this report.
Recently, different stakeholders have criticized the police for arresting people who make remarks or share information on social media deemed negative to some top government officials. The law enforcers do this using the Electronic Transactions and Cybersecurity Act of 2016, but the stakeholders feel the law is now being used to limit human rights and freedoms. In view of this, the Malawi Human Rights Commission has requested Parliament to review the law. MHRC Commissioner Teresa Ndanga, who chairs the Civil and Political Rights and Access to Information Committee at MHRC, said the law is being used selectively.
We noticed that the cybersecurity law is being used in several instances where Malawians in general have been arrested, especially in instances where they're accused of maybe insulting high-level officials. And the Malawi Police Service's defense is that, they're just enforcing a law. And therefore, we think that Parliament should take it up to review the law. But in the meantime, too, we should look at whether this law is being implemented or used in the right way.
Chairperson of the Defence and Security Committee of Parliament, Salim Bagas, says they will look into the matter.
That was indeed a concern from the Malawi Human Rights, but as Parliament to also report accordingly and see as Parliament what we are going to do as members of Parliament.
The law has mainly been blamed for stifling people's freedom of expression and speech, which is key in democratic dispensation. This is John Paul, Kayuni for Zodiac.
The Social Welfare Committee of Parliament feels beneficiaries of Social Cash Transfer Programme must be mentored well to make good use of the money they receive and improve their livelihoods. The committee's chairperson, Save Okafuafa, said this yesterday in Nchisi during committee's tour to appreciate how beneficiaries are using the money. We have a report filed by Western Good. Chairperson for the Parliamentary Committee on Social Welfare, Save Okafuafa, says relevant authorities should start to consider mentoring social cash transfer beneficiaries so that they make progress and graduate to allow others to benefit. Kafuafa says as it is now, it is clear that many people lack financial management skills because they have nothing to show save for those that made investments and can sustain themselves without the program. He says from what they have learned, the program is the best tool to bail the ultra-poor from their vulnerabilities and suggests that such programs be harmonized to benefit more and bring meaningful changes to livelihoods.
Currently, the ministry is changing the way they do their recruits. That is, we are doing the categorical kind of approach, whereby first you have to see those who have certain characteristics, whether you are old, whether you have a disability or something of that nature. So once we program ourselves in that way, we think the categorical approach is much more effective and much more better and much more fair for everyone.
While Teresa Waziramu says the 18,000 kwacha she receives is too little to change her family's life, Elida Vula says with her 14,000 kwacha, she invested in pig and goat farming and also connected electricity to her house, cases that displayed the need for proper coaching. In Nchisi, the World Bank funded social cash transfer program through the National Local Government Finance Committee, which started in 2017, has 5,842 beneficiaries running on a total budget of 1,565,970 kwacha. The program has not been without challenges, with family wrangles and some people calling beneficiaries as examples. I'm Western Guta in Lilongwe. Government says it is committed to ensuring that there is peace, unity and stability in the run-up to 2025 elections. Minister of Youth and Sports, Uchizi Mkandawire, says in previous general elections, there was tension in most parts of the country, which could have been avoided through promotion of peace. Winston Kenya has more.
Government, through the Malawi Peace and Unity Commission, has launched the second phase of the UN SDG Acceleration Fund Border Districts and Community-Based Conflict Prevention and Peace Building in Malawi project to be implemented in Nkhotakota District. The project is expected to assist strengthening the national peace architecture and improve institutional capacity for border management, among other interventions. It will be implemented in coordination with a number of United Nations UN agencies with support from the government of Ireland. Speaking during the event at Mpondagaga Primary School ground in the district, Minister of Youth and Sports Uchizi Mkandawire, who represented the Minister of Local Government, said the project is crucial in promoting peace and stability ahead of the September 2025 general elections.
It will be a very tense situation. You can bear witness to that, as we have been seeing in the past. But we need to sensitize our citizens to make sure that whatever we are doing, we should make sure that the peace is in the forefront.
Commissioner Mere Nkosi of the Malawi Peace and Unity Commission said the project demonstrates government's commitment in promoting peace, stability and unity across the country. UN Malawi representative at the event, Chara Gitachu, said an assessment showed that Nkhotakota has land and chieftaincy wrangles, hence the introduction of the project.
We have observed that there are actually latent conflicts that can potentially impact on the peace in the community related to land, related to borders, chieftaincy.
The first phase of the project ended last year and was implemented in Mulanje and Mangoji districts. Winston Kemira, Zodiac, Nkhotakota.
An education-centered organization, Leap Africa, says its transformative leadership program has improved performance of teacher mentors in 5 African countries on imparting knowledge, skills and confidence for girls to remain in school. Leap Africa Executive Director Kahinde Ayeni says 860 teachers were trained, which later extended to 16,329 girls in Malawi, Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya and Uganda. We have more in this report.
Girls face a lot of challenges to attend and complete education in most African countries, with most of them dropping out of school due to unplanned pregnancies and forced marriages. But now governments in Africa and some organizations including Leap Africa, Mastercard Foundation and Comfort Malawi are working hard to reverse the situation. For instance, Leap Africa is implementing a transformative leadership program that is largely targeting mentor teachers to impart relevant skills to scholars. Kendi Ayeni is Executive Director for Leap Africa.
Right, the Transformative Leadership Program is a program that we partnered with the Mastercard Foundation to create in 2018. And over the last 5 years, we've seen the teacher mentors emerge as true leaders and role models for scholars in the Scholars Program. And this is a program that is reaching almost 16,000 scholars in 5 countries. The program itself is really to fill the capacity need of the teachers.
In our campaign for female education, Comfort Malawi National Director Susan Silika says the program has played a crucial role in Malawi in transitioning over 2,000 girls from secondary school to colleges and universities.
As you are aware, in Malawi, most of the young women, they meet so many challenges, and most of them drop out of school due to early marriages, pregnancies, teen pregnancies. And so this mentorship support was very crucial for us.
A teacher mentor, Mary Njewa from Liguni Girls Secondary School, thanked the Leap Africa, Mastercard Foundation and Comfort Malawi for their support. Reporting for Zodiac, this is Christopher Sandy.
You're watching the news on Zodiac. You're with me, Robert Karua. We'll be back with more soon after this.
Mbatatisi ndi chakudya chokoma kwambiri. Mbatatisi yomwe yonsichuma kwa alimi otsogola komanso mavenda. Tsopano kwabwera mbatatisi ya mtundu wa chuma yomwe alimi akupha nayo makwacha. Chuma ndi mbatatisi yomwe imacha msanga masiku 90 okha, imayika kwambiri kupatsa alimi 40 tons pa hekta imodzi. Imapirira kung'amba ndi kuchita bwino ndi mvula yochepa. Imapiriranso kuchiwawo ndi tizilombo. Mbatatisi ya mtundu wa chuma ili ndi khungu lolimba, sisupuka ndipo imakhalisa ili bwinobwino komanso sipuka wamba. Ili ngulu la zakudya zokhutitsa ndipo imapatsa thanzi ndi mphamvu. Anthu ndi makampani opanga zakudya kuchoka ku mbatatisi monga chipisi, macrisps ndi zina akukonda kwambiri mbatatisi ya mtundu wa chuma. Pindulani thanzi ndi ndalama ndi mbatatisi ya mtundu wa chuma. Uthengawu akukupatsirani ndi International Potato Center ndi thandizo lochokera ku the Embassy of Ireland kudzera ku RTC Market Project.
Life moves fast, and so should your packages. Say goodbye to waiting and hello to convenience with Post Courier, your go-to courier service. When you choose Post Courier, you're choosing speed, reliability, and peace of mind. I can always count on Post Courier for quick and safe deliveries. They never let me down.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at the headlines as we continue. Strike by truck drivers in the country enters second day. Government sanctioned talks to end impasse. MHRC proposes review of the electronic transaction and cybersecurity law, which it claims is favoring senior officials. Civil society organizations call on government to exercise prudence in identifying new passport printing company. And in sports, Malawian boxers miss out on latest African Boxing Union ranking. Moving on with the news. Back to Parliament, Malawi Human Rights Commission MHRC has accused Malawi Police Service of being defensive and unresponsive to issues of human rights violation in the country. MHRC Commissioner Teresa Ndanga says the tendency is affecting adherence to human rights laws. But Deputy Inspector General of Police responsible for administration, Hape Mkandawire, has dismissed the accusation, labeling it as a sweeping statement. John Pokayuni has more. We'll bring you that report in our next bulletin. Moving on, the Malawi Civil Society Black Economic Empowerment Movement has asked government to exercise prudence in identifying a new passport printing company to address challenges at the Department of Immigration. A MABLEM chairperson, Robert Mkwezalamba, said following the hacking of the system earlier this year, there is need to do thorough analysis before identifying a new service provider. Dixon Chivat-Gondwe has more.
MABLEM has jumped on a queue of many that are commenting on the current passport crisis. It has been messy as some applicants have been sleeping on the open spaces at the Department of Immigration in Lilongwe amid rising demand and poor supply. As the government might be casting its net wide, hunting for a firm to roll out extensive passport production, Mkwezalamba calls for thorough research. There are calls for government to renew the contract with Technobrain Limited, which was accused of overcharging its services, resulting in pocket-draining passport costs. Mkwezalamba argues that such a move could compromise the system further.
We have noted concerns and calls for certain quarters demanding government or appealing to government to say you need to reinstall Technobrain because their systems are already in place, their printers are already online. And we feel it's an unfortunate call given the circumstances that we have gone through. Firstly, as a nation, we have continuously been held at ransom where we could receive services from a service provider who did not give us the right and the full exclusive rights to run the service.
In response, Information Minister, who is also government spokesperson Moses Kunkuyu, insists that they are working around the clock to address the challenges at the Department of Immigration.
We have experienced this problem for quite some time, and it has really affected many people. But then we've been explaining the problems, the causes of this problem, and the progress that is being made to recover the whole system and fully restore the passport issuance system.
Issuance of passports at the Department of Immigration dates back to 2021, following the termination of a contract between Malawi government and the previous contractor Technobrain. Dixon Chifuati-Gondwe, Zodiac News, Lilongwe.
High numbers of maternal and high number of maternal and neonatal mortality cases in Doha has compelled Ministry of Health to partner with the Care Solar on an initiative dubbed Lighting Every Breath at Zole Health Center in the district to save lives. Deputy Minister of Health Halima Daud said at the launch of the initiative yesterday that the country needs concerted efforts from stakeholders to address the challenge. She added that power outages are a major setback in labor wards, and the initiative will assist in saving lives of expectant women and newborns. She explains.
This is a very important initiative because, as you know, that in our health facilities, we didn't have electricity. We don't have, a lot of health facilities don't have electricity. So, especially in the labor wards. So this solar light is going to help us a lot in our health facilities. Those facilities which don't have electricity, ESCOM electricity, they will help a lot when somebody is giving birth. As you know that in those days when somebody is giving birth, they are used to use candles and a light on a cell phone, which is very dangerous because the candle can drop while the doctor is busy delivering a baby. So it was very dangerous. But by coming of these solar boxes, it's going to help us a lot because they're not going to use candles anymore. They'll be going to use the light from this solar box. We're very grateful as government, and especially Minister of Health, we're very grateful for this initiative because it's going to help us a lot. And as government, we don't know to see any woman dying when giving birth. So, as you've already heard me asking them to roll out this initiative to all our facilities in Malawi, especially those hard-to-reach areas. We should have this solar light, so that when giving birth, when a woman is giving birth, there shouldn't be any problems. They shouldn't be using candles anymore.
Founder for We Care Solar, Rola Stacho, says their core objective is to assist Malawi and other African countries reduce mortality rate by ensuring adequate power provision in maternity wards.
The reason We Care Solar got started is that I am an obstetrician, and I started trying to learn about maternal mortality in Africa. And when I was visiting health facilities, I began to see the issue of energy poverty, the fact that health facilities were struggling without having continuous electricity, without having lighting. And this meant that midwives and doctors were being forced to try and provide life-saving care under the most intolerable conditions. Midwives are using candles, in some countries kerosene lanterns, sometimes they use cell phones. They even need to put the cell phone in their mouth so they can keep their hands free when they're doing deliveries. And in many cases, women will not come to facilities if they know there's darkness, or women need to be sent away in the night because there's no light to provide life-saving care. We began our project in Nigeria, and when we brought solar light and power to a hospital, we saw marked reductions in maternal and newborn mortality, 70% reduction in maternal deaths at that first hospital. That inspired us to start an organization dedicated to bringing clean solar energy to health facilities that don't have power. We know that there's an abundance of sun in Africa. It's a free source of fuel. It's a clean source of fuel. So it is both good for the environment and it is good for communities, because now we have a way for communities to have reliable light and power every single day. It's inspiring midwives and doctors who tell us they're no longer afraid to work at night. And mothers are no longer afraid to come to health facilities because they know they can get the care that they need. To date, our organization has supported more than 9,000 health facilities, mostly in sub-Saharan Africa. Here in Malawi, we hope to do hundreds of health facilities, working in partnership with the Ministry of Health. We believe there may be as many as 1,000 health facilities that might benefit from this program. And we are in the process of doing assessments to identify the health facilities that can benefit from this program.
We now turn to sports. No Malawian boxer is appearing on the latest ranking sanctioned by the African Boxing Union, ABU, a development which authorities have attributed to inadequate international bouts and poor results by local boxers. Malawi Professional Boxing Control Board President Lonzo Defector Zimba has considered the standards of the sport are still rolling down due to lack of international exposure. Sambanda has the details.
Using July and first week of August results, the African Boxing Union ABU, which is a World Boxing Council WBC affiliate, says the boxers on the latest ranking are the ones to secure title bouts in the next 3 months. In its statement, the ABU has reiterated its commitment towards making certain that no promoter or matchmaker sanction title bouts without its consent. Malawi Professional Boxing Control Board President Lonzo Defector Zimba has confirmed the latest African Boxing Union rating, which has been dominated by boxers from other SADC countries, but Malawian boxers have not made the grade in all the categories. Zimba says there are several contributing factors, but key could be lack of adequate international bouts and poor results.
The reason behind all this is recent fights. They lost after being given a chance to fight again. They'll be reconsidered again. Enoch Pili had a fight and he won that fight, which means the next rating we are going to see Hanok Pili will be there just because of the recent fight that he won against Tanzania.
Meanwhile, a local boxing promoter, Michael Chimaliza, says the development is clear indication that the sport is not improving.
Would like to go higher. If they are not ranked, it's not allowed. Boxers that have good belts cannot be able to be paired against a boxer that is not ranked. Usually ABU does not allow that.
Boxers from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Namibia, South Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, and Ghana have dominated the latest African Boxing Union ranking.
And that's what we had time for in this edition of news. Before we leave you, a recap of the headline stories. Strike by truck drivers in the country enters second day. Government sanctions